Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something really fundamental for how teams work, or sometimes don't work. It's called social capital.
Exactly. It's all that stuff like trust, influence, how people actually relate to each other, stuff that's, vital, but often just slips under the radar.
Right. We've all seen it, haven't we? Teams that look amazing on paper, just stacked with talent.
Oh, yeah. Great CVs, top qualifications.
But then in practice, it's kind of chaotic, or it just doesn't click. Happens in business, schools, startups.
Everywhere. And the usual ways we measure people, resumes, tests, even references, they just don't tell the whole story. They don't explain why some thrive and others struggle.
Which is why we're looking at Squared Skew today. It's a platform specifically designed to tackle this, trying to measure what they call social value.
They're bringing a scientific angle to it, which is fascinating. They've developed something called social value metrics.
Okay, social value metrics. Sounds official. What is it based on?
Well, it's come out of about 10 years of research. It's a structured system to actually try and, quantify these social dynamics.
Quantify trust. How on earth do you measure something like that, or say collaboration?
It's pretty clever, actually. They use a series of 6 very short questionnaires each day.
Daily,
yeah. Tiny ones. They cover 9 different social variables, things like communication style, leadership approach, how someone handles conflict.
Yeah.
Across 18 different value categories.
Wow. So over time, you build up a picture.
Exactly. A really deep profile of how individuals show up in a team, how they build trust, how they lead, collaborate, sort out disagreements. The whole picture.
Okay, I get the how, but what's the why? What can you actually do with this data once you have it? It sounds like more than just, identifying who plays nice.
Oh, definitely. The applications are quite broad. For companies, think about hiring. Going beyond just the skills.
Hiring beyond the resume, yeah.
Right. Building teams that aren't just skilled, but are actually balanced socially. It could even help match co-founders or investors with startups where there's a good social fit.
That makes a lot of sense. You avoid those situations where brilliant people just clash constantly because their styles don't mesh.
Precisely. Getting ahead of that friction.
Any other areas where this could be useful?
Well, think about marketing. Understanding what really drives a community, not just demographics, or education. How do you structure admissions to build a campus culture that's actually supportive and, works?
Have they tested this? Are there, real-world results starting to come through?
Yeah, they've run pilot programs. One really striking finding came from MBA students.
Oh.
They found something like 90% reported a lack of trust in their peers.
90%? Wow. Even among, high achievers like that.
Exactly. It just highlights this massive hidden issue. And that insight directly led them to rethink how they were putting student teams together.
That's powerful. Really shows individual talent isn't the only factor. But Squared Skew isn't saying we should throw out CVs and qualifications, right?
Right.
They see this as complementary.
Absolutely not throwing them out. No, it complements. It reveals what the traditional stuff misses. It's about adding that missing piece for a fuller understanding.
Okay. So if a company or a university wants to use this, how does it work? What's the model?
It's primarily a SaaS model, software as a service. Institutions sign up for annual subscriptions. I think the starting point is around $10,000.
Right.
But they also offer things like individual reports, coaching for teams based on the data, and those matching services we mentioned.
And are they stopping there or looking ahead?
Looking ahead, definitely. They're working on something called Squared Performance.
Okay.
The idea there is to directly link this social value data to hard business metrics, things like employee retention, team performance, KPIs.
Connecting the social to the bottom line.
Exactly. And they're also exploring potential partnerships, maybe integrating with platforms like LinkedIn. Imagine having a sort of social capital score as part of your professional profile.
That would be a shift in how we think about professional value. So, boiling it all down, what's the main takeaway here?
I think the core message is just that successful teams, successful organizations, any group effort, really, it needs more than just individual talent. You have to understand and ideally measure that social fabric, the trust, the connection. It's crucial.
It really does make you think back to those teams that should have worked but didn't. Maybe these invisible dynamics were the reason all along. So a final thought maybe for you listening. How might this concept of social capital and the idea you could actually measure it change things in your own world? Your teams, your network, your community. What are those unseen factors driving success or failure for you? Definitely something to mull over. Thanks for diving deep with us today.